The desires of beings are endless, like the waves of the river, like the wind that never rests. This is a story that echoes through the ages, a tale of a king whose ambition reached the heavens, only to discover the true nature of want. Long ago, at the very beginning of this cosmic cycle, there lived a mighty king named Mandatta. His power was immense, his glory radiant. He didn't just rule one kingdom or one continent. His dominion stretched across 4 great continents. Imagine this: 84,000 kings from lands far and wide bowed before his throne. Such was his accumulated merit that a single clap of his hands could summon 7 drops of rain from the heavens, a miraculous sign of his unparalleled virtue. In that distant era, human lifespans were incredibly long, an almost uncountable number of years. As a child, Mandatta spent a joyful 80,000 years playing with his siblings, their laughter echoing like a symphony of bells through the grand palace halls. When he reached the age of 84,000, his father, the reigning king, appointed him as his deputy. And for another 84,000 years, he ruled alongside his father before ascending to the throne himself, where he reigned in unmatched splendor for another 84,000 years. Yet, despite all this power, all this time, all this glory, his heart remained restless. Like a river that flows endlessly toward the sea, his desires were never satisfied. One day, he turned to his most trusted and wise minister, Mandatta, and asked, "Is there any place in this universe richer, more splendid than this kingdom of mine?" Mandatta, ever loyal, bowed deeply and replied, "Your Majesty, only the celestial realm of the 4 great kings, a heavenly abode, surpasses the wealth found here on earth." This was all Mandatta needed to hear. Adorned in his most brilliant jewels, he and his vast armies didn't march. They rose into the sky, ascending to the heavens. The Devas, the divine beings of that realm, welcomed him with open arms, showering him with treasures beyond human imagination. He was made their ruler, and for another 84,000 years he reigned over this celestial kingdom. But still, the gnawing feeling of desire persisted. It was a constant whisper in his heart. He summoned the 4 great kings of the worlds and posed his familiar question, "Is there a place greater than this one?" And they answered, "Yes, Your Majesty. Only the heavenly realm of Tavatinsa, the realm of the 33, ruled by the great god Indra, is 100 times richer and more magnificent than ours." So once again, Mandatta ascended. He traveled higher, to the pinnacle of the desire realm, where Indra himself, the king of the gods, came out to greet him. Indra was so delighted by Mandatta's virtue that he offered him half of his own kingdom. And so, for 36 successive generations of Indras, Mandatta co-ruled the highest heaven in peace and unimaginable luxury. But a heart consumed by desire knows no true peace. The whisper grew louder. "Half is not enough," his mind told him. "Why share this power? If I kill Indra, I can rule this entire realm alone." The moment this malicious thought formed in his mind, everything changed. It was a thought born of greed, and it instantly shattered his vast reserves of merit, the very foundation of his power. His divine body, once radiant, began to weaken. His celestial light faded. And then he fell. He tumbled from the heavens, landing back in the garden of his old human palace. His ministers and the 84,000 kings who still served him rejoiced at his return. They gently placed him upon a golden throne, ready to welcome their king back. But Mandatta, now frail and dying, had learned his final bitter lesson. He raised a weak hand and declared to all who would listen, "I will not leave this seat. Remember my story. Remember that the desires of beings are truly endless." And with those words, he passed away, his long and glorious life cycle ending not in heaven, but on earth, eons past. The wheel of existence turned, and the soul of the mighty king was reborn. But this time there was no splendor, no palace. He was born as an impoverished man in a small village named Vadamati. His life was a daily struggle for survival. He mended old, discarded clothes for a pittance, his hands rough and calloused, his stomach often empty. Yet, within his humble heart, a seed of faith remained. One day, he heard that the local monks were preparing to offer alms to the Buddha himself. A deep longing stirred within him. He thought, "I am so lowly, so poor, utterly unworthy. But if I don't give something now, in this state of poverty, when will I ever have the chance to escape this cycle of suffering?" With trembling, determined hands, he worked tirelessly until he earned a single precious gold coin. With it, He bought a small handful of boiled beans. He rushed to the almshouse, hoping to make his offering. But a great crowd had gathered, and they blocked his path. He was too poor, too insignificant to push through to the front. Desperate, he stood at the back of the crowd and made a heartfelt prayer. If even one of these beans can find its way into the Buddhist bowl, may it bring me great merit. He closed his eyes and threw the beans over the heads of the crowd. Miraculously, by the power of the Buddha's compassion, each bean found its mark. The first fell perfectly into the Buddha's own alms bowl. The next fell into the bowl of the next monk, and so on, down the entire line, one by one, until not a single bean was wasted. Tears of pure joy streamed down the poor man's face. He had succeeded. In that moment of profound faith, he made a powerful vow. By the merit of this humble sacrifice, may I one day, in a future life, be greater than all others. May I have the power to clap my hands and summon rain from the heavens. After he died, his powerful vow and selfless act of giving propelled him through cycles of rebirth, enjoying bliss among gods and humans. And when the great cosmic cycle began anew, he was born again, this time as the son of King Naraja. He was Mandatta, reborn, given another chance to rule, another chance to understand the nature of desire. The story of Mandatta teaches us that true wealth is not found in endless acquisition, but in generosity and contentment. It reminds us that even the smallest act of selfless giving can create ripples that last for lifetimes. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more tales of wisdom. See you in the next video.